New Chief Executive David Stewart, who replaced Wal King just 2 weeks ago, has described the result as disappointing. But as you might expect, he wants people to focus on the $46 billion of work in the pipeline. I spoke to David Stewart a short time ago. David Stewart, welcome to the programme.
Thank you, Tiki. It's great to be here.
Every new chief executive, of course, is entitled to clear the decks. But I think the muttering amongst the analysts today is that your full-year guidance has gone, operational guidance has gone from a November figure of $510 million to one today of $370 million. That is quite a haircut.
Tiki, I agree. Operational result is probably the order of around 380, but you have to take account of our $100 million issue on weather in Queensland for the full year, and we have been provisioning for the additional issues in the Gulf. So that sort of closes that gap there for sure, but our guidance number is 480 because you can't not include the Wellspun sale.
Well, I think what the analysts are doing is very much removing that to get like-for-like operational profit guidance.
I figured that, absolutely. But that figure you've quoted is, without that 100 in there, is certainly of the order of the figure, yes.
The market, though, is clearly looking through all these write-downs. Your share price is up today. So they're obviously hoping for some serious growth in fiscal year 12-13. Where is this growth going to come from to get you back on track?
Tiki, that's a good point. At the moment, the group is in an extremely strong position. We have $45.6 billion worth of work in hand and an underlying profit within that work of about 10%. So we're looking at $4.5 billion of profit sitting behind our current work in hand figure. On top of that, we've probably got of the order of $8 to $10 billion worth of work that we say we're in a single preferred position on, or we're in a highly likely of award. So the group is in extremely strong shape. We've got an enormous amount of faith in the Gulf region. We can't look backwards, we'll look forwards. We see work coming through there in the next 6 months that I think will create a different picture there by June of this year.
Well, let me ask you about Habtor, because clearly you've been plagued, as you mentioned today, with legacy problems. You're looking to the future, but you're also concerned about the speed of securing some of those contracts, the pace at which things are done in the Middle East. Are you worried that this is only going to get worse because of the sovereign risk associated with countries like Egypt and indeed that creeping across to perhaps Saudi Arabia and some of the countries that you're looking at now?
Yeah, I think, Tiki, to connect Egypt and Tunisia back to the United Arab Emirates and the countries we're working in, I think is a long bow.
Even Saudi Arabia, which is
well, Saudi Arabia, certainly we have only a small amount of work in Saudi Arabia. We're looking at work there, but our focus is still Abu Dhabi, Kuwait. We've just won a job in Iraq through the Reconstruction Authority. We're looking at work in Oman. Again, all of these works are undertaken with significant local partners, so we've got delivery confidence. Meeting with our Managing Director last week for his quarterly reports. He's foreshadowing or current tenders that are about to be or in the process of being determined, totalling about 20 billion dirhams. So again, we're not going to win all those jobs, but we're in a very strong position. The business underlying has made a profit this year. It's just the provisions and the impairment that have created the loss. So the underlying business is profitable.
Let me ask you about India, because obviously you sold 35% of Leighton Contractors India last year for really 2/3 of what you were hoping for, and now created this joint venture. Now that's also what you did in Dubai, and then had to write down the profits. Could this happen all over again?
I think Dubai was different, Tiki. We merged with the Habtor business in Dubai, so Gulf Leighton merged with Habtor Group and created Habtor Leighton Group. We're a 45% shareholder in that business. In India, we have sold a share to Wellspun. Wellspun is a very big Indian company, and we see great prospects of growing our business on the back of what they do, their local knowledge, their local interests, and we look forward to a very big future in India.
Lastly, let me ask you about skill shortages, because back in Australia, because this is something that you impressed upon us today. You didn't mention, though, the National Broadband Network. Now, Minister Stephen Conroy is saying he's looking for 25,000 full-time jobs. Would you care to comment on what sort of implications that's going to have for the cost and the timing of a rollout like that?
Well, I think, Tikki, the big issue for Australia is, firstly, how you create an environment where people are interested in furthering their education, becoming engineers, tradesmen and becoming skilled workers, and also what you do to fill the gap of unskilled workers. The mining companies are sucking up people from across Australia on fly-in, fly-out contracts. The reality is we'll eventually run out of people and the cost of those people will go up, or the projects slow down, and you can't have it any other way. I don't think, even if the government opened up an enormous migration program, you would actually solve this problem quickly. It is frustrating for us as contractors that the 457 visa scheme that worked so well, getting skilled tradesmen from India and the Philippines and other countries, has now been closed down significantly. And we're very keen. We've got a lot of work. As I wander around our opcos, our operating companies in Australia and overseas, there is an enormous volume of work coming through, but that work won't be delivered unless we have workers to complete that work. And again, not just workers, but engineers, tradesmen, designers. It's just the demands on our people are extreme, and we're competing across the board.
David Stewart, the market's obviously given you the thumbs up today. Thank you very much for talking to the programme.
Thank you, Tikki. It's been nice to talk to you.